It's end of October and it's time of the month to do that monthly garden tour. Don't be deceived by the blue sky. We have had such a wet weekend. So everything is a bit drowned, but yeah, things have really moved on since last month. Lots of new things to show you, so yeah, I'll just crack on. So I just thought, out of interest, you might want to see the hanging basket, which is still looking lovely, with all those different phlox in it. I did switch off the watering, but a few weeks ago, which was not a good plan. It's deceptive. Even if it's wet weather, the baskets and things do not get much water, so it's revived now anyway. Okay, so top of the garden, the wildflower area needs a good old sorting out, so hopefully by next garden tour that will be sorted. What I have been doing up here is I have been planting narcissi, so there's about 80 odd bulbs in there. One of them is actia and one of them is pheasant eye, so I've got two little narcissi graves here to add to the ones that are already up here. And it's quite a good space saving. If you haven't got a huge amount of bed space, then why not plant them in your lawn? So moving on up to the top of the garden, so same course as usual on all the garden tours. The apple mint is still going strong. I've been taking quite a few cuttings from that. Foxglove are looking great. Still haven't weeded it, so still lots of Sweet William coming up through there. So foxglove, 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 and weeds. More foxglove. And as you know, down this stretch of the garden, not an awful lot to show you. Little greenhouse next. There's a few things going on in here. Okay, so in the little greenhouse here, I've got some of my hardy annuals coming on. So we've got larkspur and we've got some nigella as well. Quite tiny, but they are growing. But more excitingly, I soaked and put in for pre-sprouting my ranunculus and anemones, and today is the day that I'm now going to move on the ranunculus. I'm going to check out the anemones too. They seem to be a bit further behind and it doesn't look like a lot's happening, but let's have a little look just to see if anything is happening in here while I'm at it. It looks potentially like there is. No, not quite ready yet, so need a little bit more time there, which is fine, but the ranunculus are pretty much all showing signs that they need to be moved on. See the roots coming out of the bottom there? So interestingly, ranunculus first, anemones still to come, and these were first soaked around about a couple of weeks ago. So they've got to this stage within a couple of weeks. Okay, so the next part of the garden, following the same route as usual. Okay, let's start with the right hand side here. So I now have some hardy annuals planted. So we've got cornflower in this one and then some corn cockle in the next one. The Phacelia needs thinning out, I think I said that last time. Sweet William looking grand, and the clary needs pulling out. I do want to save some seed from some of that. And then if we look down the other side, my Dahlias is flowering amazingly. I made the mistake of thinking that this was a biennial. I sowed it in June and now it is flowering beautifully. So yeah, definitely should treat this as a hardy annual and sow it a little bit later. Sweet William, going grand. The snapdragons, I'll be pulling those out this week or in the next week or so, and the same with my mixtures bed, and more snapdragons there. Bit of a collapse on the arch, which is to be expected as it's been up for a couple of years and it's now got a very heavy cobia on it. Let's have a closer look. Rudbeckia, Sahara and cherry brandy. I've been using those quite a lot just recently. The autumnal colours just look amazing. I wish they weren't quite so late for me, but they do seem to be. The hesperus is looking alarmingly healthy. I hope it's not going to flower. And we haven't had a little peek under the netting here. Oh my word, the Ami is putting on quite a lot of leaf growth, rather a lot of leaf growth there. So that's going to need, if it's coming up through the first netting in fact. Okay, not quite what I was expecting. It's just been such a mild autumn. The zinnias have now pretty much had it. They do not like wet, yucky weather. There's still a few nice ones here. And then here's the cobia, just looking absolutely gorgeous. Up the side of the sweet pea arch, lots and lots of flowers there. Bees look like they are really enjoying it, getting a last minute feed there. Can't catch any at it now, there's one gone up there. Having a lovely time. Okay, to the right hand side of the arch. The first bed, which did have ranunculus followed by cynoglossum, I believe, way back, and then I direct sowed some nigella, and you can see the nigella coming through. But what we've also got here is weeds, as well as lots and lots of these seedlings, which is cynoglossum. Now I've already put a load of those into little modules, which are going to be enough for me to overwinter. So this just needs hoeing between the 3 rows of nigella, and also last year's ranunculus have popped up. There's something munching some of them, but I just left them in the ground, and there's a few popping up. And the next bed was the phlox cherry caramel, which really has burnt itself out now. This was interplanted between the ranunculus, which have now some of the ones that left in the ground are popping up by the looks of it. So this will be cleared very, very soon. The next bed had corn cockles in it, which then self-sowed, and then I sorted out the seedlings so that we've sort of got 4 rows, filled in some gaps which appeared. I think a pheasant had got in there and pulled a few out, so I'm just going to leave those be. And the snapdragons as well, although, you know, I've still got some life in them. My fresh flower season has pretty much come to an end now. I've got no more big orders, which is kind of nice that I don't have to worry about things. So it's better off if I can pull all this out and put these beds to bed, tuck them up. Okay, so we'll have a look down the perennial border now. Okay, as you can see, the greater quaking grass is taking over somewhat. So I really need to have a good old hoeing here so that it doesn't interfere with my alliums which come up in this bed. I do like to have a nice little border of them, but I really don't need this much. So they will be coming out soon. The cosmos have decided they're going to flower. There's tons and tons of buds on there, honestly, they took their time. And the trouble is the flowers do get smaller and smaller as the winter goes on. But they are providing some much needed nourishment for the bees. What else have we got round here? So I will be planting this bed up with tulips like I did last year. It's a bit early for tulips just yet. I'll wait until the end of November. Or mid to end of November anyway. So yeah, still a few more things to pull out here. Raspberries, they'll get cut back soon. Those were autumn raspberries. More cosmos and some lovely healthy honesty as well, which I hope isn't too far on, too much leafy growth. Okay, so I've got a job on this afternoon potting on lots and lots of things, which I'll show you in a moment. There's a few bits there. I've got some ammi and some cornflower, which has been outside just on the potting bench there. The perennials, no, I have cut them back. I don't really like cutting them back because I like to leave lots of cover for the wildlife, but I also want to mulch it, so that's kind of this catch-22. So I think I'm going to bundle up some of my cut clippings and put them on the beds and just sort of leave them there for the winter, so that at least there's somewhere that bugs can go. Hopefully that'll do the trick. We've sort of done a reasonable amount of mulching here as well from our homemade compost. The remaining perennials weren't ready to cut back just yet. Most of them have been. The biddens, that needs to be pulled out because it's just taking over there. I don't want it there. Veronica's been cut back. Sedum's looking fab. And you might notice my new she shed, which is chock-a-block already. But anyway, that's going to be very exciting. Okay, so let's have a look at the greenhouse. Okay, I've only got a little dinky greenhouse, although at least I do have two now. So I mentioned the cynoglossum earlier on. Oh dear, I've had some casualties by the looks of it. Not quite sure what's happened there, but most of them are looking pretty good. I wonder if we had a bit of frost. I don't know. I've been away for a couple of days, so I'm not quite sure what's happened here. Either that or they've been overwatered. Might be that. Okay, what else have we got? So we've got a bit of melope, we've got a bit of larkspur, we have got more larkspur. So I've managed to pot some on into bigger pots. I've taken some cuttings. I potted on some red campion, which I want to put somewhere specific in the garden, not just let it go anywhere. More cuttings which don't look very healthy. Again, I'm not quite sure why. And some wildflower. I just put some wildflower seeds into some modules in the hopes that I'll be able to plant those out early next year. I might even do it soon. I'll have a look at the weather forecast, but I think maybe early next year I'll try and nurture them over the winter, see what happens. The scented pelargonium is going great guns. I've taken lots of cuttings, which last year didn't survive very well, so fingers crossed they'll do better this year. Okay, time to have a look at the dahlias, but first, oh yes, I've been potting on. I just pulled out some things that some echium that was in the wrong place. It self-seeded, some cerinthe. I'm just kind of, it's in a little bit of a holding pen here. And oh, sweet peas are out in the cold frame as well. I had to tip out a load of water from them this morning. Got a bit flooded from the rain. And talking of which, so this is just a couple of days worth of rain that we had over the weekend, so fairly substantial. So I am pretty excited because the middle of this month I'm expecting a new greenhouse to arrive. So everything's ready, fingers crossed we've got the dimensions right. So next month you might see a new greenhouse there as well. And there's Unity's stable has been moved, and the little shed's going to be moved. So there's a few things changing around here just to hopefully make the workflow a little bit better. Dahlias next. Okay, as you can see, the dahlias are still going strong, but I just wouldn't want to rely on them, promise somebody I could do a wedding or a funeral or something like that let's say in a week or 2 weeks time, because you just can never tell what the weather's going to do. So I'm just enjoying them myself. I must get them all labelled up properly so I know which ones are which. They already do have labels, but they do kind of move about a little bit, or the writing disappears or something, and I do have a little bit of a mixture. They're a bit all over the place. This Wizard of Oz is in between the Diva and the Honesta. But anyway, they are still looking pretty good, seeing as it's the end of October. A little bit washed out. But not bad at all. There we are, I've got the sun behind me now. So Dahlias to my right, and then the Helichrysum. I mean, they're still looking healthy, but they're not going to like this weather, and they soon start going mouldy. I've been cutting them and drying them like crazy. I might have one or two that I can cut today, but that's about it. Again, the Status does not like this weather. I try and cut it as soon as it looks mature enough to cut, otherwise it soon just does not like the rain and it'll go brown and horrible. The Monarda, still a little bit of Monarda there, but yeah, it's the end of my season and I shall be just concentrating on the dried flower produce and my Christmas workshops in the next couple of months, and that's it. So the sunflowers, they really tall but getting quite tiny now. So we've got a mixture of vanilla ice and new hybrids. Quite like the orangey colour of the new hybrids. The poor Cosmos has just had it. It got so big and has just pulled the netting right over. In fact, it's probably broken it. So that's got to come out very, very soon as well. That's the end of the end of October garden tour. I'm just trying to make the most of my lovely cobia here that I keep going on about. Yeah, I'll see you next month. I've got quite a lot of things to do today. I'm going to be potting on all those cornflower, the ranunculus, all the other hardy annuals that are still in their little tiny modules. I'm going away for a few days, so I want to get that done before I go away. Yeah, so look forward to seeing you next month. See you then. Bye.